The galaxy had not known peace for centuries. The Zilari ruled with iron precision, their sleek ships patrolling every star system. Planets that had once thrived under their own leadership now obeyed silently, their citizens living in fear. The Zilari were proud, arrogant, and certain that no species could challenge them. They believed that all hope of resistance had died long ago. Yet somewhere far beyond the borders of the main Zilari territories, a forgotten human ship drifted silently through the cold darkness of space. Its name faded on the hull was Odyssey. Once a vessel of exploration, it had been carrying humans in cryo sleep. Their mission simple: discover new worlds, study them, and return to the stars. But something had gone wrong. A solar flare had disrupted the ship's systems, and for thousands of years no one had been awake to fix it. Inside the ship, a soft hiss echoed as one cryopod opened. A young woman blinked against the dim lights. Her name was Ilara Jensen. She stretched stiff limbs, her mind foggy, memories half lost in the haze of centuries. Around her, dozens of pods were beginning to hiss and open one by one, releasing humans into the same cold, silent chamber. "What? Where are we?" she whispered, her voice trembling with both fear and awe. Lyra, the ship's AI, appeared in a holographic projection nearby. Her soft blue light flickered as she spoke. "Welcome back, humans. You have been in cryosleep for 1,246 standard years. The galaxy has changed. You are not alone." Ilara's brow furrowed. "Not alone? What do you mean?" "The Zilari rule," Lyra replied. "They control the majority of star systems. Many civilizations live under their strict supervision. Your species was thought lost." Humans slowly gathered, confusion and disbelief in their eyes. They had been explorers, dreamers, scientists, but the galaxy they had known was gone, replaced by a vast empire of domination, where freedom was a word from old legends. "We need to understand," Ilara said, her voice gaining strength. "We need to know what has happened." Lyra nodded. "I will provide you with all necessary information. The Zilari patrol nearby sectors. You must be cautious." The humans moved through the ship, exploring their surroundings. The Odyssey was old, but it still held tools, vehicles, and knowledge that even the Zilari had not mastered. One man, Jonas Reeve, ran his fingers across the ship's control panels. "Our technology? It's outdated, but it still works. Better than I expected." Ilara gathered the crew in the central chamber. "We can't just hide here forever," she said. "We have to know what's out there. If the Zilari have taken over the galaxy, someone has to show that freedom is still possible." Their first real test came quickly. Outside the Odyssey, a Zilari patrol ship moved silently. Its sensors scanned the area, searching for anomalies. The humans had no weapons that could match the Zilari's advanced technology, but they had something else: creativity. Ilara and Jonas worked with the crew to reroute the ship's energy shields, making the Odyssey invisible to the Zilari sensors. It was risky, but the humans succeeded. The patrol ship passed without detecting them. Inside the ship, cheers and laughter broke out. It had been so long since humans had used their minds in ways that truly mattered. Their ingenuity had saved them, a reminder of what humans could do when they worked together. Lyra projected a map of nearby star systems. "These planets are under Zilari control," she explained. "But some systems are less monitored. You may find allies there." Ilara's eyes shone. "Then that is where we go. Not to fight, but to awaken hope." The humans spent weeks preparing. They repaired the ship's engines, tested old technology, and created communication devices that could send messages to other civilizations without alerting the Zilari. They were careful, learning from the AI about the empire they had awakened into. When they were ready, they activated a broadcast, sending a message to nearby systems. Images of humans emerging from cryo sleep, working together, solving problems and showing hope, spread across the stars. For the first time in centuries, whispers of freedom began to grow. On one distant planet, a child looked up at the night sky. "The humans, they're alive?" she asked, pointing to the flickering lights of a signal. Her father nodded. "Yes, and they are showing us that the Zilari can be challenged. We have hope again." The Zilari noticed the change, too. The Empire, once so certain and unchallenged, felt unease for the first time in centuries. Their leaders called for meetings, trying to understand how this small ship of humans could create such influence without violence. The humans did not wait to be attacked. They traveled to planets on the edge of the Empire, showing ingenuity and resourcefulness. On a desert world struggling with water shortages, humans helped design systems to store and distribute water efficiently. On a frozen planet where crops were failing, they showed the local population how to harness geothermal energy. Everywhere they went, the humans did not dominate. They taught. They inspired. They showed that even against a mighty empire, cleverness, cooperation, and hope could change lives. But danger was always near. Zalari patrols began noticing the humans' broadcasts and small acts of inspiration. One patrol ship approached a human outpost on a distant moon. Alarms blared, lights flashed, and humans held their breath. Using their old knowledge of navigation and timing, the humans rerouted the patrol ship into an empty sector. The Zalari never realized how close they had been to discovery. Ilara watched her crew with pride. "We are doing more than surviving," she said. "We are teaching the galaxy what it means to be human. To think, to adapt, to hope." Weeks turned into months. More humans woke from cryo sleep as systems across the ship came online. Every new awakening brought more skills, more minds to solve problems, more courage. They were not warriors. They were humans, thinkers, builders, dreamers. And the galaxy, long under fear, began to notice. In a council of planets secretly connected by human broadcasts, leaders whispered about the possibility of freedom. Civilizations that had never dared to dream again saw a spark. That spark had a name: humanity. The Zalari could not understand it. How could a single species thought extinct inspire hope without weapons, without armies, without domination? The humans moved like shadows, clever, careful, and full of ideas that the Empire could not predict. Ilara stood in the command chamber of the Odyssey, looking at the stars. "They may have terrorized the galaxy," she said softly, "but they did not understand one thing. Humans are never truly gone, and when we awaken, even after centuries, we can remind the galaxy of what it means to be free." Lyra's holographic light shimmered. "The next phase is crucial, Captain. The galaxy is watching. Every action, every broadcast, every solved problem, it will ripple across the stars. The Zalari will not know what hit them." Ilara nodded. "Then we begin." The Odyssey jumped into hyperspace, leaving behind the silent dark, moving toward the next system where hope could grow. With every light year traveled, the humans remembered their purpose. They were not just explorers anymore. They were the spark that could awaken an entire galaxy. And somewhere in the heart of the Zalari Empire, leaders felt a chill. For the first time in 1,000 years, the galaxy they thought they controlled felt fragile. A small, forgotten human ship had returned, and it carried more than people. It carried ideas, hope, and the promise that even the strongest tyranny could be challenged without a single act of violence. The humans of the Odyssey were awake. The galaxy would never be the same. The humans of the Odyssey had awakened from cryosleep into a galaxy that had forgotten what hope looked like. The Zalari ruled most of the stars, but humans were not warriors. They did not carry weapons of mass destruction, nor did they seek to destroy their oppressors. Instead, they carried something the Zalari could not understand: creativity, adaptability, and an unshakable belief in freedom. Captain Ilara Jensen looked out from the bridge of the ship as stars streaked by in hyperspace. "We have awakened, yes," she said, "but awakening alone is not enough. We must inspire others, show them that their lives can be different." Lyra, the ship's AI, nodded. "The systems ahead have been under heavy Zalari control for decades. Resistance is rare, but not impossible. Your presence alone may rekindle hope." The first planet they visited was Lyra 9, a mining world where the Zalari forced the inhabitants to extract rare crystals. The planet's surface was scarred with enormous pits, and smoke rose from the machinery day and night. The humans landed quietly in a secluded valley and observed the locals. They were thin, exhausted, and fearful, but not broken. Ilara addressed her crew. "We cannot fight them. We cannot bribe them or rule them. We must help them help themselves." Jonas Reeve, the engineer, grinned. "That's our specialty." Over the next several days, the humans shared old Earth technology adapted to the planet's resources. They designed simple machines to distribute water efficiently, repaired failing power grids, and taught locals to maintain the systems themselves. Each act required no violence, only creativity and cooperation. The miners watched in disbelief as their lives slowly improved. Water no longer ran out halfway through the workday. Machines stopped breaking down. Children who had once never seen clean water could now drink freely. Word spread quickly, carried by small secret messages. Humans have returned, whispered one miner to another. They make life better. They do not fight, but they show us freedom. News reached nearby planets. Humans were becoming a symbol, not a threat. The Zalari, however, did not ignore this. High Command gathered in the shining towers of the Central Empire. Screens flickered with live transmissions of humans improving lives on Lyra 9 and other systems. "This is unacceptable," hissed General Vrax. "They do not fight. They do not attack. Yet they inspire rebellion. Rebellion spreads faster than we can control," a council of Zalari elders argued. "We cannot destroy them," one said. "Their actions are benevolent. They cannot be stopped with our usual tactics." Vrax's eyes narrowed. "Then we watch, and when the time comes, we strike. But be warned, they are clever. Far cleverer than we expected." Meanwhile, the humans continued their journey. They traveled from world to world, always careful, always avoiding direct conflict. On a frozen agricultural planet, they helped locals create geothermal heating systems for crops. On a desert planet, they designed solar-powered irrigation that revived dying settlements. Each success added to the legend of the humans. One evening in the Odyssey's dining hall, the humans gathered. Ilara looked at the crew, smiling. "We are changing the galaxy," she said softly, "and not with violence. We are teaching hope, and hope is stronger than fear." Lyra projected a map filled with small lights representing every planet where humans had helped secretly. "The Zalari notice patterns," she said. "Even if they do not understand us, their control is slipping. Your influence grows daily, but not all journeys were easy. On a water world under Zalari rule, the locals were suspicious. They had been forced to obey for generations and feared punishment. The humans worked tirelessly to earn trust, listening patiently to fears, helping discreetly, and showing that small, clever solutions could change lives. One local leader, a woman named Tessa, finally asked, "Why do you help us? You could take these planets for yourselves. You could fight them." Ilara shook her head. "We are not here to conquer. Humans survived because we cooperate, not because we dominate. We show what is possible when minds and hearts work together." As word of humans spread, entire civilizations began to whisper. Secret councils met at night, exchanging ideas, sharing knowledge, and plotting ways to regain autonomy. Children learned of the humans in secret stories, and artists began to paint murals of their arrival. The spark had ignited, and the flame grew quietly but relentlessly. In the heart of the Zalari Empire, fear grew. Systems that had been obedient for centuries began questioning authority. One Zalari officer reported, "Our workers are slowing production. They speak in secret, questioning orders. Something is different." High Command grew anxious. The humans' tactics were invisible and unstoppable in the traditional sense. Vrax could send fleets, but what could they fight? The humans did not attack. They simply inspired change. The turning point came when the Odyssey organized a gathering, an interstellar council of oppressed civilizations, connected through hidden networks and transmissions. Representatives from dozens of planets attended in secret. They shared knowledge, culture, technology, and stories of life before Zalari rule. Ilara addressed the council. "We cannot fight the Zalari directly, but we can teach one another, support each other, and show that cooperation is stronger than fear. Together we can change the galaxy." A murmur of agreement spread. Plans were made for sharing technology, creating communication networks, and building self-sufficient communities. No violence, no armies, just the power of minds working together. When news reached the Zalari, panic began to ripple through their ranks. Civilizations they thought loyal were quietly resisting. Systems were communicating secretly. The humans' influence was everywhere, invisible, unstoppable, and growing. Lyra projected data to Ilara. "The Zalari Empire is weakening. Their control slips. The galaxy believes in freedom again. You have achieved more than survival. You have sparked a movement." Ilara smiled. "Watching transmissions of thriving planets, children drinking clean water, farmers tending crops under the warmth of new energy systems, and workers rebuilding communities. This is what we were meant to do," she said. "Not conquer, not dominate, inspire." Months passed. Humans awakened more crew members from cryo sleep. Each new awakening added skills, ideas, and energy to the movement. Across the galaxy, civilizations began celebrating human ingenuity and cooperation. Murals, songs, and stories spread the legend of the humans who had awakened from the stars to teach hope. Even the Zalari could no longer maintain their grip. Rebellions were subtle at first. Minor defiance, delayed orders, whispered ideas of independence. But they were unstoppable because the humans had changed minds. People no longer feared the Empire completely. They could see that life could be different, brighter, freer. Finally, the humans gathered on the bridge of the Odyssey. Ilara gazed at the stars, feeling the energy of countless worlds stirred by their presence. "The galaxy has awakened," she said softly. "They once thought they could control everything, but hope cannot be conquered. Our work is not finished, but the spark has been lit." Lyra's light shimmered. "You have shown what humanity is capable of: adaptation, cooperation, ingenuity, and most importantly, hope. The galaxy is remembering freedom, and nothing can take that away." The humans smiled at one another. They had returned not as warriors, not as conquerors, but as teachers, inspirers, and builders. Through ideas, creativity, and kindness, they had sparked a revolution stronger than any fleet of ships. In distant corridors of the Zalari Empire, leaders whispered anxiously. "We cannot fight them," one said. "Their strength is not in weapons. It is in their minds." The humans of the Odyssey knew the journey ahead was long. There would always be challenges, skeptics, and dangers. But for the first time in millennia, the galaxy could breathe freely, and the humans could finally smile. For the first time, civilizations had hope, and the Zalari had realized that no empire, no matter how mighty, could contain the power of an awakened human spirit. The Odyssey jumped into hyperspace again, heading toward new systems, leaving behind a trail of inspiration. Humans had awakened, and the galaxy was alive with possibility. From this moment on, nothing would ever be the same. The galaxy remembered humans, not as conquerors, not as tyrants, but as a spark of hope that could awaken entire worlds.